Comedy Film Nerds Podcast.
So let's talk about the big movie release this weekend. It.
All right.
Should we let our guest go first?
Yeah, Dave, you go first.
Now, Dave, did you see this alone? Did you go?
I saw it. Well, so my wife wanted to go because she likes going to scary movies. But just because the way it timed out, like I had to go alone on Saturday night. Like it just wasn't any other time.
So it's probably packed though.
Well, that's the thing. It's kids. So I sat down. I'm like, oh, they're all fucking 15 and 14. So I mean, literally, when the movie starts, someone behind me farts really loud. Like that's.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
Puts you in the mood.
But I was able to
I
sort
wish
of
that kid was
block.
at my Hello Junkie screening in Portland 15 years ago.
But I was able to block it out. I used to read a lot of Stephen King. I stopped after a while, but it was one of my favorites. So I really, I generally don't like seeing movies if I've read the book.
And Stephen King generally doesn't have a great track record of adaptations onto the big screen.
Well, they're hard because let's face it, all of his shit goes bananas in the third act of the book, like just absolutely fucking crazy. And this was one of those. The ending is not the same, which was good because I kept thinking, God, I hope they don't end this the way they did in the book. So I went in. I'm a huge fan of creepy clowns.
Because this book came out a while ago.
A long time ago.
Because they did a one-episode mini series that came out in 1990.
Yeah. I think haven't they tried to make it twice?
It was adapted, as a miniseries. It had like Harry Anderson in it and a couple other people. Yeah.
John Ritter.
Harry Anderson. Like
John
already
Ritter,
you've
John Boy from the
John,
Waltons.
that's right, yeah.
He's okay. He can act, but Harry
He had a
Anderson.
really bad ponytail in it, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember. And Tim Curry was
Richard Thomas.
was
Tim
the
Curry.
clown.
Well, that's a good clown.
Yeah.
I don't know who the clown was in this. Was it
Bill Skarsgård.
Oh, okay.
Skarsgård.
Skarsgård.
So I liked it because it's one of those movies you have to go in knowing, well, this is going to be kind of ridiculous, and I have to step out of reality and just go with everything.
You got to suspend the disbelief.
If you cannot do that, you're going to hate this movie.
Right.
So I went in just knowing, well, there's a clown in the sewer.
Right.
And if you know that, then it's all fucking crazy. So I totally went with it. I really liked it. I thought the kids were great acting wise. I thought it was really funny that the girl is told like they found a new Molly Ringwald.
Right.
They called her that
they
in
made
the
the joke.
movie.
They made the joke.
And they did. I was watching this. I was like, holy shit, this generation has a Molly Ringwald. Like that girl is totally what that is. And yeah, I like the story. I know some things I heard people say some things got cut out. Like apparently the black kid has a huge backstory that they cut out, which is supposed to be really interesting. So maybe that'll make it into the DVD director's cut or something.
It was a long movie for a horror movie.
It was
like
a long movie.
2 hours and 15 minutes.
But I was
that.
in the whole time. Like there was
Right.
no. Usually movies I'm like, you could have cut out a big chunk of this. But because of all the kids that were involved and sort of the world that they created, like with the bad kid and all the other stuff going on, it held me the whole time.
Yeah, I have to say, I really liked it too. I thought it was, there was a studio note as it was being shot. Make this like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Because the book is set in the 50s, and then they just moved
That's
it
right.
up.
I was trying to remember the time
They moved it up to
period.
the 80s.
Yeah.
And they even had a kid from Stranger Things in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, you can't get much closer. I mean, they're on bikes. You got one kid. You're set in the 80s. Now I got it. Yeah. Note implemented.
Yeah, totally.
So one of the things that I really liked about this movie, I thought the clown was creepy. I thought it had a lot of creepy parts to it. I thought it was generally scary as a horror movie. And I thought the kids were all really good. One of the things that it was for me is I brought my daughter.
How old?
She's 12 and a half.
She's 4.
Yeah.
And
To never sleep.
Yes. And this was like her first like in the movie theater horror movie experience.
Yeah.
So it was, and she was been bugging me to see this ever since the trailers came out. Her and another friend, they really wanted to go, bugging me forever. And I always check the parents' guide, to see what's in the movies.
Yeah.
But I knew this was kind of like had the Stranger Things vibe. It's like a really good entry level young teen horror movie.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, kids having sex getting killed at a camp.
Right.
Like it's not that kind of horror movie.
It's almost like a version of Nightmare on Elm Street that's more palatable for people, like more suspenseful.
Yeah, and I was looking at some of the trivia, and whenever Pennywise, his eyes look in two different directions, when like one would go the other, he said that wasn't a CG effect. The actor Bill Skarsgård actually did it, and that's what they used for the final film. So that made it even creepier when I read that. I'm like, oh my god!
And
he
also,
actually did that.
It also said too that he was having nightmares, Skarsgård, when he got so into playing this character that he was losing his shit.
He was giving himself nightmares.
Yeah,
I could see that because he's great, and the clown, it's awesome. Like the way they do that, it's not too much.
Right.
It's just sort of enough, and the clowns fucking creep. Clowns are creepy, but they
upped the creep factor for sure. I mean, just from the opening
scene. The opening scene is
was
just
like, oh my god.
When he's that scene, the close up, just the lights on his eyes, where he's down in the sewers, and the way he talks, "You wanna come in the sewer, Johnny?" or whatever. It's like, oh, it was so skeevy. I gotta say, I liked it. I didn't like it as much as you guys did. I felt like I started looking at my watch. And I was like, they need to cut a half hour out of this movie.
Right.
I wish they would have gotten more into the story. They went from like one set piece nightmare to another. They were all really cool. They were all really inventive. But I was like, let's move the story along. Right. Is what I wanted a little more. And I think the Stranger Things bar was set so high, and other trivia is that they were looking at the Duffer Brothers to do this.
To direct this, and then they said, nah, not famous enough.
And then they did Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Well, I get what you're... Here's the thing, though. So if you cut... Like, if you read the book, it's very true to the book in the sense that it paints the town. Like, it's about the town. And so if you cut stuff out, then you're cutting that out.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I was sort of wrestling with it because after
the
movie...
people creepier in the town, like in the book?
Yeah, they're all fucked up in the town. Like you definitely got a taste of it.
You got a taste of it. I think for me, I think that's sort of what I was missing. Is I wanted a little more explanation or showing me more of the town, because it became obvious. Well, the town knows this goes down, and they're just okay with it. So
every 27 years.
Yeah, every 27 years they just sort of let this happen, and they're okay with all these kids missing. So I felt like I wanted a little more from that, and I wanted, I guess, and I got the whole, it's kids not being believed, and kids like, obviously like the girl is being abused by her dad. I mean, and then like they go into, so all the kids are like you see the kind of abuse that they're dealing with from the adults, and sort of how
creepy all the adults are.
How creepy the adults are, and how adults can be pretty creepy and evil.
There's not one redeeming adult in that film.
No.
There's not one.
No, and that's I think that's part of the book too. That's sort of what it's about with the town. Is the town is fucked up.
Right. Now, I also noticed there were some Easter eggs. I haven't read the book, but I knew a little bit about the story where there was supposedly like a spirit helping them in the book that took the shape of like a turtle.
Yeah.
And I know there was like some Easter eggs in there of where like the kid had a turtle Lego in
We
his
should
room.
let people know, by the way, we're going to do a spoiler up on this, so we'll go into the
more details
on the ending. But no,
But I think there was like a lot of stuff that for people who had read the book too. It seems like in the movie.
Can I do the spoiler of the book? That's not in the.
Yeah.
Because they all fuck at the end. So one of the things about defeating the clown is they can't be virgin. Remember that came up? One of the kids said it. Also, he said, "What? We can't be virgins or something." They all fuck her in the sewer.
I think it's after they.
Was it after?
Yeah, after they kill the clown. Like it's a cathartic release after the.
So they all fuck at the end.
Oh,
all those 5 guys and the one girl.
Yeah, they're like gangbanger.
Oh
or
my
they
God.
take turns. They take turns, but they all lose their virginity to each other. And
that's
again,
in the book.
Well, they lose their virginity to her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then
they have sex with each other.
No,
they have just sex with her. But then I think I don't. She was being abused by her dad in the book too, which is a weird, thing to me because they left that in, but they didn't.
I'm kind of glad they didn't put that in the movie.
Yeah, of course. No, it's terrible. But then because the dad was like that, if you've read the book, it's throwing you off the whole time. You're like, oh god, are these kids gonna all fuck at the end? So it throws you off.
Oh, interesting.
And they can't put that in a movie,
Right.
because
And
it's
this
too
is also-
fucking horrifying.
And this is also the first half because the rest of the book is them as adults.
Right, and so that's what I was wondering. Like, are they going to do that as adults, or are they going to
Yes.
come back? Or are they going to come back 27 years later?
They're going to be. They're definitely making another movie with.
So they come back 27 years later, and
right,
they're
with-
and they're
as
adults.
as adults, yeah.
But I was wondering if they would come back 27 years later with a new group of kids. That's what they did in the 80s, right? So
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't think they're. I think they're going to do more the adults, from what I read.
Yeah, It Chapter 2 has already been announced. They don't have a production schedule on it, but my guess is it'll be 2 years from now, 19.
Right.
do you think? I mean, I don't know how old she is, but do you think they'll get Molly Ringwald?
That would be great.
I would love
They
that.
could.
I would. I mean, yeah, I would love that. I don't know. Like, I will say this to about this film. Every time I was starting to get like a little bored, then something interesting would happen that
Yeah, it
would
was
sort
well
of
paced.
bring me back into it.
It wasn't the kind of thing movie too. They could have easily made a mistake. Well, you're not going to see much till towards the end. No, you saw shit from beginning to end in this movie.
Yeah.
which was the way it should have been for sure.
Yeah, but it's.
I can't wait around it. I know there's a creepy clown in this movie. You can't wait until the third act to show it to me.
No.
I
And
need
you know,
to see it sooner.
As we talk, like I don't go to horror movies. I don't really like
Right.
them. Part of me was like, oh God, why am I watching this?
Yeah. Oh, I know. This was a this was a journey for you.
But I think the Stranger Things aspect of it
Mm-hmm.
allowed me to do it.
right.
Because I mean, I would like out of my when I was watching Stranger Things in my house, I would like
Right.
freak out watching that. So I had some great scares and then would laugh like it was
Cathartic.
yeah.
release.
So I like that. I mean, it was. This type of horror I can handle.
Yeah, it's it's actually funny because when I came back, my wife was like, did you like it? And I was like, yeah, but you wouldn't, because she doesn't like that type of horror. She likes the type of horror where it's like, could it be real? You know, and she doesn't like it when it's like a clown in the sewer. She's
Right.
like, well, I'm out.
Yeah, like a creepy dude that is he evil kind of. That's the kind of horror she
Yeah,
likes.
or like a demonic possession. Is it real?
Like-
Did that actually happen? Amityville Horror. Kind
Paranormal Activity, which
yeah.
you like, where you don't see a lot, something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Suspenses. Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
All right.
I shot first. With kitten heads across the